Hello, welcome to Financial Markets Weekly, an audio podcast by Succinct Information. This is a professional summary, free of noise, focused on facts, and straight to the point. We help you save time while covering the key events and market performance. These are the highlights from last week.
The catalysts for the risk-on sentiment in global markets last week were the resolution of the debt ceiling standoff, which was agreed last Saturday and approved by Congress on Thursday, and the robust U.S. employment report for May released on Friday. The short trading week due to a holiday on Monday ended with leading U.S. stock indexes higher, while European and Asian developed benchmarks finished mixed. Following the recent trend of solid returns for growth stocks, the outperforming index was the technology-heavy Nasdaq Composite, with a 2% return, while the S&P 500 added 1.8%, and the small-cap Russell 2000 gained more than 3%. Equity volatility, as measured by the VIX index, declined to a 3.5-year low of 14.6%. Europe's Stoxx 600 index finished almost unchanged, with Italian and Spanish stocks as the outliers, with returns of more than 1%. Economic data. The non-farm payrolls reading showed that 339,000 new jobs were created in May, far exceeding the 190,000 expected by analysts. The figures for the two previous months were revised upward by 93,000, confirming the resilience of the U.S. labor market. The unemployment rate, however, jumped from a 53-year low of 3.4% to 3.7%, the highest since October. The significant divergence between the unemployment rate and the high number of jobs created is mostly due to the way each survey is conducted. Average hourly earnings were 4.3% higher than a year ago, and are almost the same reading as the past 3 months. In Europe, inflation is decelerating rapidly. Headline inflation for the Eurozone in May was 6.1% year-on-year, compared to 7% a month earlier. The core inflation measure also eased to 5.3% from 5.6%, confirming the downward trend in price pressures. In Germany, headline inflation was 6.3%, well below that of April, and France printed at 6%, the lowest in 12 months. The only Eurozone country to record rising inflation last month was the Netherlands at 5.2%. The futures markets are showing an implied probability of 71% for the Fed to keep interest rates unchanged, and an 84% chance for the European Central Bank to lift rates by 25 basis points at their monetary policy meetings in 2 weeks' time. Interest rate markets. Bonds traded firmer across maturities and markets after the U.S. default was avoided. Yields fell, despite the solid employment report that supports a higher interest rate environment. Except for British gilts, all developed sovereign bond markets exhibit yields below those at the end of 2022. 10-year treasuries are yielding 3.69%, German Bunds 2.31%, and gilts 4.16%. Currency markets finished little changed, with the dollar index closing almost unchanged. The euro-dollar pair closed at 107, pound-dollar at 1.2450, and dollar-yen at 140. Commodities. The Bloomberg BCom index declined for a 6th straight week, to an 18-month low, driven by a weak Chinese manufacturing PMI reading and an OPEC meeting today. OPEC Plus members, which account for more than 40% of global crude oil output, are considering a deepening of production cuts at a meeting in Vienna today. WTI oil closed at $71.70 and Brent at $76.10. The grains and base metals complex traded sideways and were little changed. Copper is trading at $82.37 and gold at $19.48. Some closing bullet points. Turkey's runoff presidential election last Sunday resulted in 52% of votes for incumbent Erdogan, who will extend his ruling until May 2028. Investors sold the Turkish lira and domestic bonds, and bought dollar-denominated sovereign debt. The lira fell 5% on the week, to an all-time low of 21 per dollar, while stocks rallied 12%. Tesla shares jumped 11% last week to $214, as the company benefits from the government inflation reduction tax. Also, Elon Musk's visit to China left positive headlines regarding production improvements. Tesla shares rallied 74% this year. Apple shares gained 3% to an all-time high, after several brokers raised their target prices. Lululemon Athletica, the Canadian yoga apparel company, reported solid quarterly results that beat sales and earnings estimates. Shares gained more than 7%. Corporate deals worth mentioning include investment manager Franklin Resources, the owner of Franklin Templeton Funds, acquiring Putnam Investments, the Boston-based asset manager for more than $900 million. And Swedish private equity firm EQT buying out Dechra Pharmaceuticals, a British veterinary drug maker for £4.4 billion. India's economic growth accelerated by 6.1% year-on-year in the last quarter, with the manufacturing, construction, and agricultural sectors showing the best improvements. Cryptocurrencies barely changed during the week. Bitcoin is trading at $27,000 and Ethereum at $1,900, on limited news for the sector. The notable mover was Ripple, which gained 11%. That's all for this week. Please subscribe to the channel and help us promote it. Visit succinct.info to learn more about our subscription service. Have a good week.